Welcome to Be in the Room, episode 18 out of 20. Today we are talking all about owning the room. We are talking about your leadership presence. We are talking about practical tactics and tools that you can use so that when you speak, people lean in like I'm doing with you right now. If this is your first time joining me, welcome, welcome. My name is Lauren Morrison. I'm a certified business and executive coach. And today I'm going to be joined by a fellow executive coach, a speaker, a storyteller, a sales trainer, just an incredible human all around. I'm going to be bringing on Laurence Anthony, who is my partner in crime since university. We've worked together when it comes to we went through radio and television art school together, so we've learned we've mastered the presence of being on camera together, and now we've elevated that into various spheres of our lives. Laurence and I are now both coaches, both executive coaches, both storytellers, and of course Laurence is a master when it comes to presence in a room. He is a master when it comes to speaking in ways that allow you to lean in. So I thought, who better than to have Laurence come in and provide you with the tools and tactics that he uses, not just for himself as a speaker, but also uses these tools when he is training athletes, when he is training and coaching athletes, when he is coaching top executives in Fortune 500 and 100 organizations, and when he is leading sales teams of massive companies as well. So without further ado, let me bring. Hello, Izzy. Myra's here. Sean is here. Good morning. Layla is here. And now Laurence is here. Good morning, Laurence.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Is it lagging? I don't know
No,
if
you're fine now.
I'm good. Okay, great.
It was
Look at
it
my.
was for like a second, but now you're good.
This is my between two ferns setup here.
I love a between two ferns.
I knew you would appreciate. This is my between two ferns. It should be a new show. Whiteboard on a flat screen.
Whiteboard on a flat screen. I just rewatched Between Two Ferns on the weekend. It's such an amazing movie.
It's so good. I feel like it's lagging. I'm gonna go to regular. Much better. This is much
Okay,
better. Now it's clear. This is good.
now it's
So
clear.
whiteboard on a flat screen. This is a premiere episode.
Whiteboard on a flat screen, premiere episode. Lawrence is in a turtleneck. We're gonna have a time today. How's
Of
that?
course, of course, of course. I mean, look, it was either a suit or a turtle,
You were
and
gonna
I had
go
to.
turtleneck. We knew you
No,
were
no, I
gonna
was going to
go
go full
turtleneck.
suit. I was going to go full suit for a reason. I was going to go full suit because this is all about how you show up
Mm-hmm.
and how you are judged by how you look. But then I thought, well, wait a second. We need to do ultimately, and well, the mistake a lot of people make. I know we're not to jump right in, but folks end up dressing for what they think they should look like instead of their comfort. So something we could talk about. But yes, whiteboard on a flat screen.
So whiteboard on a flat screen, and today we're talking all about that executive presence, how to command the space the moment that you walk into the room, and then once you walk into the room, how you're going to back it up with presence, speech, language, energy that allows people, that is going to invite people to lean in when you speak, because we all know it's not about what you say, but it's about how you say it. So I want to hand it over to you. Take us through this.
Well, we're going to jump right in before even addressing your book in the back. I love seeing this. Be in the room. I love seeing it. Your
I'm
head
a,
blocking it though. You gotta adjust
I'm
so
moving
everyone can
here.
see
Oh
it.
my lord.
There you
It's
go.
there. Okay.
It's presence. Uh, I'm gonna let you take it away because see, the turtleneck was a good look, but the thermostat is crazy high. So one of the things that's really important when you're in a room is not to overheat. So Laura, you could talk for a quick minute while I drop this temperature. I'm
Okay.
Canadian. I don't need so much heat.
You don't, I need a lot of heat because I'm Canadian.
You've moved. You've changed.
I have changed. All right.
Uh,
So are you good now?
I'm great.
Okay,
I'm great.
awesome.
Whiteboard on flat screen. Okay, so super honored that you asked to do this. And as I was listening to your intro, I was like, wow, we really do go so far back. And you said university. I think what the Brits say, we went to uni together. For those who don't know, I tell everyone
Right.
right, that you've always looked out for me. And when you let me know that this was one of the topics for your series, I've been watching the series. It's been absolutely incredible. I thought this was one that I love. And you asked, which one I want to hop in. This is the one that really spoke to me for so many reasons. I feel like this is a topic that could go well beyond an hour, so that's not going to happen. I'm going to try and hit some really important points that I think are really impactful, not just for those listening, watching, but for how we step into rooms and how we engage the room. And a lot of the work is done beforehand.
Right.
A lot of the work is done beforehand. So I think I want to start with I got notes. I came so prepared, right? Whiteboard on flat screen. Right. What's
Probably the name
because
of your next book.
yes. I think that if we think about Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers, I think that there is a notion that a lot of people have when it comes to confidence and presence. They think that it's something that you inherently have. And I do think there are elements of truth to that. I do. However, I don't think it's just a personality trait. I really do think it's practice. And I really do think it is a matter of choices that you make. And these are micro decisions that add up. That would be the equivalent if you listen to Tom Brady talk about what it's like to be successful in the NFL. Now, he was such a great success, the GOAT. Brady wasn't well scouted. He was not considered to have a lot of presence. The documentary on the Patriots is a phenomenal doc because they talk about how Brady was viewed in the scouting process, in the combine process. He was
Mhm.
just kind of lanky. If you look at Brady back then, like he just, first of all, it's a clear indicator of what happens when you have no money, right? But Brady was like, kind of sauntering. He didn't really have presence from the outside. It's when folks spoke to him that they really understood. So sometimes we are often judged by how we look. That was one of the reasons that I want to start off with arrive before you speak. There's three things that I want to leave everyone with. This might be a good time to go to the whiteboard on a flat screen. Okay, so first things first, all right? Presence is not a personality trait. It is practice. It is pre-game work that you do well before you even enter the room or well before you are going to be in the room. Plug, right? That's a direct plug for you. Right? So first things first, right? Number one, three things I want to leave you with. Number one, arrive before you speak.
I'm just gonna pin some of the bars that come in as they come in.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they're bars, right?
Yeah.
Can everyone see that? I know it's a little weird, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think even if you talk it through, because like
Okay,
my
great.
whiteboards are
Your
horrific,
whiteboards
but
are so much better.
talk it
This
through.
is this is the most budget friendly whiteboard on a flat screen, but I love it. Arrive before you speak. To me, it is about leading with stillness, eye contact, and presence. Arrive before you speak is super important. Before you even enter a room, folks are judging you, right? Before you even enter a room. I'll share a quick anecdote. I am a big fan of when I am in a room and I'm going to give a talk. And I learned this from a great acting coach when I was acting years ago. He said the mistake that a lot of actors make, the same mistake that a lot of speakers make, as I've came to find out as it comes to speaking, is actors will kind of stay here and then they'll start to deliver lines. So nothing, and they'll say an action or and begin, and then you start delivering your lines. People have already judged you before you've
Mhm.
even said anything. So this is a great tip for speakers, for performers, for leaders in any room, not even if you're just speaking in a room, for folks that you and I are coaching, right? Instead of just standing here waiting, you're going to do this. Walk in,
Yeah.
walk in, right? And I do this with rooms that I'm in because a lot of folks might be coming into the conference room or the boardroom, and then I'm now standing here having to gain attention. When you enter into a room,
Yeah.
you bring presence in, right?
So
It's it.
even when you're in the room, you might
Oh,
be
I
in the
leave.
room, but
I
then
leave.
you will leave. And
I
you will
leave the
come
room.
back.
I leave and I come back. It is a purposeful, intentional thing that I do
That's
every
brilliant.
single time.
That is
And
brilliant.
I do like it's, I don't even need to go anywhere, right? But I'll do it, and I'll do it.
Just walk
I'll
out,
do it.
turn around, and spin
Yeah, yeah,
back
no,
in.
legit. It really is like that Simpsons thing, right? Just walk in. I,
Love that.
I do that for a number of reasons, and to be very honest and vulnerable here, I still feel shy
Yeah,
internally. Like internally, I'm still shy.
yeah,
However, it's a great way for me to command the room. It's a great way for me to, I go out, I'll recenter myself, I'll take a breath. And then when I come in, I'm bringing power into the room.
right.
Because if I'm standing there and people are coming in, I almost feel like people are coming into my home, right? And I'm kind of hosting them. And in some ways I am. But when I leave, I get to come in with presence. I get to enter the way that I want to. It's like going to see a Broadway play, right? And
That's
when
so cool.
someone walks onto the
Yeah,
stage, like I saw Denzel in Othello last year, it was amazing. When Denzel walked on stage, I mean, it's Denzel, of course, right? But when he walked in, there was presence. If he's just standing there, it's not the same.
yeah.
So arrive before you speak. Super important,
Love that.
right? And it's not something that I think is really intuitive. I think the way that most people think is, well, people are coming into the room, let me just start speaking. It doesn't work like that. Okay,
Yeah.
number two, I'm going to use another color. We're going to go reading rainbow on this over here. Let's go with
I would
green.
be shocked if you didn't. It's giving art attack right now.
Yeah, let's go with green.
Go
Okay,
with green. All right. So arrive before you speak is number one.
land your endings.
Mm.
That is the worst G and S I think I've ever written, but it's super important. You know what most people do when they are, you really can't see this, so it's a good thing that I'm reading this.
It's good.
What
Yeah.
what most people do is they'll go like this. They have, like, let's say they have something they want to read off, right? Okay, so today we're going to talk about why it's important to do the following. I'm going to give a presentation on, let's just use this for example. I'm going to give a presentation on how to land before you speak. Pardon me while I just fall asleep.
Go
It's
ahead.
boring. Boring. Land your endings. So, what is the difference between I'm going to talk about how to land your endings, and team? Today, we're going to talk about how to land your endings. Two different things.
So you went like Morgan Freeman on that ending. Like, whoa.
But that's what's important. Intonation is super important. The pauses, or the
Mhm.
power of the pause, is something that's really important, right? And to me, I like to equate it like this: when you don't land your endings, it doesn't matter how great you started. It doesn't matter what you even said at the beginning. By the way, you can captivate people early. How many times have we all been in a conference or been in a room and they've got our attention early, but what starts to happen?
Yeah.
You fade, you get
Yeah.
tired, right? Landing your endings is the equivalent of flying a plane. The best part about being on a flight, minus mid flight, I like mid flight because that's where I have my cocktails and my champagne. But the best part, the most important part of a flight is what?
The champagne, but you keep going.
For me, the
The
most important,
landing.
there it is. The most important part of a flight is landing. It doesn't matter how bad your flight was. The best part is we landed. We are now here. Land your ending. So it doesn't matter how great your opening was. Remember, you're telling a story, by the way. A lot of people don't realize that when you're in a room, presence is telling a story,
Mhm.
right? There can be people who are maybe not that tall or big in stature, or maybe their voice isn't as deep or bold. But if they can tell a story and they can land an ending, that's what people remember. It's all recency bias. So when I talk about land your endings, don't rush through your sentences.
Right.
Keep in mind your volume. Confidence isn't just volume, it's how you land your sentences, and also slowing things down. You brought up something. You didn't just say that I went Morgan Freeman on the ending. By the way, I have a better voice than Morgan Freeman. You didn't just talk about that. It also was something else that was done.
Hmm.
I slowed down.
Down. Yeah. Yeah.
You want to talk about presence and being in a room, how to captivate people, how to have them in the palm of your hands. It is slowing down when you speak because they
Yes.
hang off every single word.
Yes.
And what ends up happening is some of us are shy. Most of us want to do a great job. And if you really care, of course, you want to nail it. And you end up, your tempo ends up matching your excitement,
Yeah.
right? So keep the excitement, but slow the tempo down 10 to 15%. That
And
will make a big difference.
I think what's even important about that too, and there's just the preparation. I say this because this is something that I'm very guilty of. If I'm facilitating a program and I know that I've got material that I need to get through, and let's just say for one reason or another, I'm crunched for time. So now I have half the time to deliver all the material. When I go in there with the belief that I got to say all the things, my tempo was like, okay, blah, 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 blah. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Because I'm trying to jam it all in. And it doesn't matter that I got all the information in there. No one could keep up with me, right? So even in that preparation, it's like knowing we call it the planes that you want to land. Like, what are the planes that you want to land? And knowing those specifically up front gives you, I think, a lot, it'll enables you to slow down because you're like, as long as I land these three things, then I can take my time.
You're absolutely right. It's like checkpoints or check marks, right?
Yes.
And I'm a nerd. I like playing video games, but anyone who's played like Mario Kart or any racing games, what do you always do when you get to the check mark? It makes that sound. It's oh lap two, oh lap three, right? And I like to look at it like that. Hit your check marks.
Hmm.
What happens in between, you can race a little bit, you can cut people off. I'm a big fan of the red shell. I like to, it's a tracking shell, right? You can do all that, but you want to hit your check marks. And as long as you're hitting your check marks, what happens in between, it's okay. You don't need to be so on script,
Right.
right? So arrive before you speak, land your endings. And the third one, I had something that I wrote down that was the power of the pause, but I incorporated that with land your endings. So I actually want to share a third one because we're talking about how to be confident in a room. I kind of want to throw a curveball here, and it's not something that I wrote down, but immediately it's something that I do, and I wanted to share here. I'm going to put it here as work the room.
Hmm.
Work the room. Everyone knows the power of the pause, so I'm okay with putting that in number two and land your endings. This does not get spoken about often, working the room. When we talk about working the room, we're talking about doing exactly what I am doing now, right?
Right.
If you and our viewers were in this room with me, I can assure you one thing I would not be doing is standing up here at the front with whether it was a PowerPoint or some kind of presentation or deck and going like this. No, no, no. I'm walking around.
Yeah.
I'm walking around. You know something I love to do? I'm going to give everyone a trade secret here. I really shouldn't be telling people this because it's something that I haven't seen many people do. It's my thing, but I'm going to give it away here because I love you, because you're my uni PCC fellow coach. Not only do you work the room, sit down beside someone. Go to
Ooh.
someone and be beside them. It completely offsets the temperature in the room. And now you've got people smiling, right? I could really call this be engaging, right? But all of this is engaging. But when I talk about work in the room, one of the things that I will do, I will go sit down beside a client or audience members, and I'll talk one on one. And you know what I'll do? I'll incorporate these two things here, but with them, almost as if I'm giving a one on one talk. And what ends up happening, I've now calmed my nerves because I've brought a co conspirator in with the presentation. So I don't
Right.
feel alone. I don't feel as if I'm standing in front of a bunch of people. In fact, I'm with people, right?
Right.
And we all feel much better when we're communal. So now I'm with people, and it's a great way to get buy-in from everyone else. If you sometimes do feel nervous being in a room, or if you feel like, your pacing is too quick, a great way to take a beat, because you can't leave the room like you could at the beginning and come
Yeah.
back in. So you go sit down. It's a
Yeah.
great way to get people, and you work the room. right? People love to see movement. It's my version. This is my version of the walk and talk. Aaron Sorkin, phenomenal for this, right? He's one of the people that really made this famous. If you watch a medical show or a cop show, The Pit, I'm a huge The Pit guy, if anyone watches The Pit, right? And that's something they do in The Pit all the time. Could you imagine a medical show where they were just standing talking about the case or talking about like a patient what they're going through? The reason it's engaging is because they're doing something while they're talking about this
Right.
medical jargon. So when you
Right.
work the room, you feel more comfortable, you get buy-in from everyone who's in the room, and to be quite honest with you, you really manipulate people. People are
Yes.
now forced to listen to you,
Yeah.
right? So these are kind of like the three, there's many more, but these are three, I think, key points that will help. This is really before you even get in the room. People are going to judge you about how you look. So arrive before you speak. Control your presence when you walk into the room. Before you even say anything, think about how you're going to dress. Think about how you want to kind of just start. If we're looking at a flight, this would be kind of like takeoff,
Okay.
right? This is our takeoff. This is pre-boarding, all the work. And what happens during pre-board? There are announcements,
Right.
right? So you want to create that presence before your plane leaves the ground. If this is mid-flight, you want to land your ending.
Hmm.
Slow down, think about what you want to say, how you want to say it, focus on that last word so you get people hanging off, right? And so this is we're now descending, right? And work in the room, that's a little bit of the flight attendants.
Yeah.
You're talking to people on the flight.
Yeah.
You're handing out the drinks. You're doing all that, and that's what makes a flight really memorable too. Is that experience in addition to how you land.
Right.
So these are kind of like the 3 points that I think are really important for just presence. I want to turn it over to you. I have more points, but I want to turn over to you.
Well, I think that what I really appreciate about these points is that these are micro. First of all, starting off with presence is a person isn't a personality trait; it's a practice. So, what are some micro tactical things that you can take into as a practice that can boost your confidence so that you're not solely relying on like the do I know my stuff, right? And I think that that's where people get so much in their heads is they just want so much to sound impressive because they're saying a lot of things and they want to show how much knowledge they have, but in doing that, like we're missing the parts where it's landing with people. And I think the tips that you have given are really small things that everyone could start doing tomorrow, today, even. Really small things that people could start doing today and just testing it out to see like, when I walk into a room, does it give me like one percent more confidence? If I focus on just landing that ending, will it give me that 1% additional confidence I need? Because for public speaking, and so for so many in public speaking, people are so nervous and confidence deteriorates at the thought of public speaking that each of these 1% increases matter. Like it's a 1% behavioral increase, but it's probably a 10 to 20 to 50% multiplier in terms of impact that you're going to have.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. And I wanted to kind of just share a bonus with you that I thought was really important because I think that what ends up happening, and I don't know about you, I'm curious how you feel about this, but I feel what ends up happening, going back to that Malcolm Gladwell, kind of topic and thought process around the outliers is a lot of people look at successful individuals and say, oh, they have something that I don't. Or they look at great speakers and think, oh, that's just something natural. We have this notion to think that people are born with it. That's why I said it's not a personality trait. And again, to some extent, that is true. However, this is why the practice comes in. If that were true, then we wouldn't have as many people who come from quote unquote nothing and become something, right? It is a mixture of nature and nurture. And I'm bringing this up because I think that we look at these 3 points, or we think about great speakers, or we think about confidence in a room. And a lot of people just say, I could never be that. I hear that often. I could never do that. I could never be that. I know a very successful individual. He's a great guy. He's actually a really kind, warm guy. And he's smart, but he often says, oh no, I couldn't be that.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to kind of give three things for people who maybe feel they don't have presence. So how to generate it. And
Mm.
that's something I think many forget. And I think if we don't do that, then we're just building on folks who kind of are just either A, naturally inclined to do it or who will learn. But what about those folks who say, I want to, but I don't know how?
Right.
Right. So I wrote down 3 points here. How to generate presence when you don't feel it. One, clarity. What am I here to do? If you can ask and answer that question, that immediately creates confidence within yourself. What am I
Mm-hmm.
here to do?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I here? Right? I'm not a big why guy. I really do try and focus on what as much as possible. You and I know this obviously from coaching. But what am I here to do? What am I trying to accomplish? That allows you to put your goals down and then say, okay, what do I want to hit? What does success look like? So
Right.
that's what I call clarity. Connection. Who am I speaking to specifically? Who am I trying to talk to? By the way, if it's a team and a group, who am I speaking to? Am I speaking to the team? But this is where a lot of people don't go further, no pun intended, is it's not just a team. Who in that room can you speak to
Right.
specifically? That's what I mean when I say like sit down and talk to someone individually, right? Like who can I speak to specifically? Yes, it's a team of successful individuals. Yes, it's a team of executives. It's a team of military men and women. But who in that room can I point out and can I speak to?
Yeah.
Connection. I'm a big connection guy. If you're making a connection in a room, you're crushing it already. And then the third, and I think this is maybe the most important part for folks who feel as if they don't know how and they're seeking to do it. I call it claiming. So there's three C's: clarity, connection, and claiming. Claiming is I'm allowed to take up space here.
Ooh, my gosh. What's
Huge.
the what is this? Am I doing it right?
What are you
Is this
doing?
how you clock it?
Are,
I don't know.
are you having a malfunction?
I'm trying,
Is she
trying to be.
is she glitching? Like,
I'm
reboot.
just gonna snap because this is all I know. I don't know how to clock it.
Please reboot our system. Uh, Claiming I'm allowed to take up space here. Lauren, I think this is probably the most important thing, particularly because I know how much you succeed and thrive and are passionate and deliver on that passion with the clients that you coach, men and women. But particularly, this is something that, I think is super important for women, right? I'm allowed to take up space here, right? Very few men are thinking, am I allowed to speak? That's just not something a man thinks for the most part, right? I love the acronym WAIT. Why am I talking? Which is
Yeah.
an acronym I think a lot of men could probably use a lot more, and a lot of women could throw out the window.
Right.
So claiming, I'm allowed to speak here. When you have that, oh shoot, handcuffs are off. It allows you to be more fluid, it allows you honestly to be free. Because when you don't have that, you're not free. You start to
Yeah.
second guess. Can I say this? Or you know what comes out a lot? Sorry, sorry, sorry. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Get rid of that. Claiming. Claiming is super important, particularly for the clients that you coach. So, clarity: what am I here to do? Connection: who am I speaking to specifically? And claiming, right? I am allowed to take up space here. And I think those three tips are super important for folks who maybe don't feel inherently confident. But if you can do those three things, amazing. And that ties into just like the Aristotle's like structure for speaking. Are you familiar with this?
No, go ahead.
I love this. I think about this every time I talk, and this is another tip for polished speakers, intermediate, for folks who feel like they don't have any confidence when they're walking in a room. And this will help you with job interviews. This will help you with negotiations. This will help you across the board. There's an Aristotle structure for speaking and presentations. It is this: tell people what you're going to tell them.
Yes.
So you know this. Yeah, you do know this. Tell
I
them what you,
know. Yeah. I don't know it was
yeah.
Aristotle, but yeah.
Yeah. I told you I'm a big nerd. So tell people what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. However, because I'm Lawrence and I always got to go a little further, there's a fourth part. Those are the three that most people know. Three? Oh, no, three. Those are the three that most people know. But there's a fourth: ask them to tell you what you told them.
Yeah.
And that is what will get engagement. That is what will allow you to not feel like you're just standing up in a room or trying to buy engagement. To be quite honest with you, and I'd love all the viewers here to take this away, don't ask for engagement. When I walk into a room, I am not asking for engagement. There's a reason that I'll leave the room and come back in, because it's now my room,
Right.
right? So I'm not asking for engagement. I am demanding it,
Hmm.
right? But I'm also inviting you. I
Right.
want you to feel engaged. I want you to be part of it.
Right.
Because if you really think about it, is it not all of us in the room trying to reach a certain goal? Why am
Hmm.
I here if I'm not trying to get someone to reach a goal? Or why are we not in a relationship? Or why are we not in a boardroom if we're not trying to commit to a common goal? So, since it's all of us trying to get to the common goal, then all of us should partake in reaching the goal.
Which is why I think your three C's are very, very pivotal. And especially, as women, as people of color, as women of color, chances are there is a lot of rooms that I go into where I'm the only. And that on site is intimidating. That on site generates like primal fear in someone. When you can look around a room and not see people who look like you, your spidey senses start to go up. So in those circumstances, and you're already starting to tell yourself a story of the perception that they have of you, right? So that whole piece around clarity. Actually, someone said this. I think Tyrone Edwards said this sometimes. He's like, I have to understand that when I walk into a room, people have already started to tell a story about me that I may not be okay with, because of the color of my skin, because of my height, because of my presence, because of whatever. So people have already started telling a story about me that I may not be okay with. My job is to be in control of that narrative, be in control of what it is that I want them to see, what I want them to take away. And when you walk into the room without those three C's, you are potentially allowing that automatic fear that surfaces, to take over and guide your presentation versus, okay, I've scanned the room. What am I here to talk about? What was the other C? Clarity,
Connection. Who am I speaking?
connection.
Mhm.
Who do I know in this room? How can I draw on their experiences? How can I bring them in? And the third one is the biggest one, is that piece around like, I'm allowed to take up space here. That permission is huge, because that permission in and of itself will change your language, will change your posture, will change the types of words that you use, and will change your energy. So I think that it's extremely important that those three C's are taken into every room with you, especially if you are going into a room as an only.
You're spot on. And that's why I wanted to really land on that claiming, because a lot of folks do feel like they're an only, particularly a lot of, I know you don't just serve these clients, but the good thing about Black women,
Yeah.
right, is, and this is something I hear all the time from a lot of Black women executives, but I'm the only one in the room, or Lawrence, they don't hear me, or, I'm looked at in a different way. The claiming part is really important. And yeah, that's why I thought about arrive before you speak. I kind of want to leave maybe like a couple points that I really want everyone here to ingrain in their mind is: don't try to warm up the room. Arrive there. If you're trying to, and that's why I leave and come back, is because I'm not trying to preheat the room.
Hmm.
I- First of all, I hate preheating food, right? I know
Hmm.
you got to preheat the oven, but if anything, I would say be an air fryer. Don't be an oven, right? The
Right.
power of the air fryer is you just start cooking. Don't try and warm up the room. That's so much pressure. That's
Hmm.
so much pressure. And I'm going to talk to the Black women executives, or some of your Black women clients. Same thing. There's too much pressure. You're already dealing with a bunch of pressure. Don't try and warm up the room. When
Hmm.
you arrive there, it makes a big difference. And I think one of the most important things that I would share is also just around this notion of presence, right? And I know I said it's not personality trait. It's not. It certainly is practice. But the mistake, and you touched on this so eloquently earlier, is everyone's trying to like do well in the room. What if we moved from trying to impress the room to trying to serve the room.
Hmm.
Lauren, that's where my confidence comes from. If you really want to, like, when you put all the paper aside, all the whiteboard, all the tablets aside, every room that I am in, and I mean this from my hand to God, every room that I am in, my thought process is I am here to serve. I am a big believer in that. I tell everyone actually, yes, I'm a coach, but I tell my clients, I tell one on one, I tell in a group, I'm here to serve.
Right.
When you're here to serve, it changes the dynamic in the room. When you're there to impress, you're overly thinking about what you wear. You're thinking too much about, oh my gosh, I got to get this out quickly. I'm going to make a mistake. But if you're there to serve, oh, it's fluid. You can
Yeah.
have fun now,
Well,
right?
because
And then,
the serving piece is an acknowledgement of your value first. Like,
yes,
I have something to serve. So,
the,
acknowledgement of value first
massive. Your value is
versus
massive.
trying to fill a gap of like,
Mhm.
let me impress. Yeah. I
I'm not
think
here
it's,
to audition.
hmm
And I think that's important. You know me and my movie references. There's a great line from Miami Vice. It's not a great movie yet. I love it. I love it, love it. Right. And there's a scene when Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx's characters, Tubbs and Crockett, are in this like downstairs club and they're talking to the bad guys. And they say, we don't audition for business.
hmm
Business auditions for us.
hmm
That's confidence.
yeah.
If you could just take the notion, by the way, half the work is that you're already in the room. And I think that's really important. Obama said this during Black Lives Matter protests when he was in office. And it's not a well known, I think, fact, but it's one that I really love. He had a bunch of protesters who were in the Oval Office with him. And they were raising their voice, shouting, being upset with him. And they had grievances. The grievances were fair. But at one point, Obama stopped them and said, team, or guys, or fam, whatever you are, he said, you're here already. We don't need to shout. Don't
hmm
need to yell. You
Yeah.
don't need to criticize. You're already in the room.
Mm.
Half the work is done. And I
hmm
think this is super important. I love the title of your book for a reason. I love what you've put together because if you are in the room already, now you don't have to worry about trying to get in. Your only concern is how do I serve in the room?
Yeah.
How do I slow down in the room? How do I create meaningful engagement and connection in the room? That is what confidence is. That's what confidence is. That's what presence is.
That's beautiful. And I think that that's such a great way to view confidence, not coming from a place of cockiness or let me try to be the best, but from a place of like, let me bring value to this room because I know what I have. Everything that you have shared here is great. And I say this because I do consider myself to be someone who is practiced in the art of presence. And I learned so much today. Like it's really great because I'm already thinking about like, man, I can't wait to get live in my next room so that I can leave the room, spin around and walk back in so that I can focus dramatically on the ending and so that I can really practice those. What was the third one again?
Work the
Oh,
room.
were the connections. Like, I'm going to try sitting down with someone. And before I get into that room, practicing those three C's, because I genuinely believe that those are going to make a huge difference. And again, these are micro things that someone can do, but the impact that it's going to have in that space is monumental. So I thank you so much. And I think that those are the most powerful tools that don't take you nothing, all the difference.
You're so right. And,
Low
you know,
effort, high reward. That's my lane. That's where I want to.
well,
Low effort, high reward.
you're the only one. You're the only
I
person.
love it. I will find any way to low effort, high reward.
I didn't want to throw too much data at everyone, so I wanted to use some like not just personal anecdotes, but historical and also pop culture and reference. But just from a data standpoint, I want people to feel a little more comfortable because over 40% of the population has a fear of public speaking, and most people can, if we're looking just from a data standpoint, I think it was like a Pew Research or some polling I looked at 2024 was we can afford to slow down 10 to 15%, right? So, I'm an overpacker when it comes to traveling, right? I also am not a small person. So like my shoes are a size 15, 16. So like I take up a lot of space in my luggage. And I've had to think about how I can be a little more creative. And I think what's really important is I've struggled against this really early on is I could probably take out 10 to 15% of the clothes that are in my luggage when I'm traveling. The same thing applies to when you're stepping into a room. Take away 10 to 15% of the pressure and start having more fun.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you came on for this. I think there were so many gems dropped in here. This is probably one of the most valuable sessions that we've had in this series, and I've set the bar high. So I want to say
Yes,
thank
you
you.
have.
I have
You
set
have.
the bar high,
You have.
but
You have.
thank you so much. And I think we need to figure out more ways to collaborate so that people are getting more of your wisdom and gems. I think you're already going to get some DMs looking for speech coaching. So thank you so much for coming through.
Whiteboard on a flat screen.
If you are not following Lawrence, make sure you are doing that now, although most of you must be at this point because he and I are collaborating on things all the time and it's always a great collaboration. We are twins in so many areas, except I'm not a size 16, I'm a size 10 women, which I think is the equivalent of a size 16 for men.
It's pretty close. It's pretty
It's
close.
it's big, okay? Big feet, same degrees, same name, same certifications, and also just same values when it comes to the importance of doing this work that we do here with
Yeah.
you all today. The only purpose that we are here is for serving. So
Yeah.
thank you all for being here, and we hope that you take something, at least one of these micro tips away to start practicing tomorrow. I don't care if it's in the room with your cat. I don't care if it's in the room with your kids. Practice these things because presence is not personality, it is practice. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lawrence. And
Thank
we'll
you
see
so
you all
much.
tomorrow. All right. Any last words, Lawrence?
I'm going to spin around. My last words are going to be about you.
That
I
was actually really good. I like it. I was like, it's a new person.
told you.
New person is in the
I
chat.
you said everything well, and I'm so happy for your book. And if everyone has not got a copy, they certainly should. I just think what you're doing is incredible. And I've said this before. I'll say it again. You are a guiding light for so many of us, and I have been following your footsteps since the minute I got into school. It's such a joy to keep following you. So I love to serve, and I know this is a deeply passionate thing, and I know how much you put into this. I know how much you genuinely care. So yeah, just thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and it really is a great honor. I'll do this with you anytime.
All right. We'll talk soon. Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow. We'll just leave.